I think at Facebook we've got a culture of creation rather than anything else. We have what we call a hacking culture, and what that means is that anyone can bring forward an idea about any topic, and that idea is worked on by a number of engineers and people within the team, and at the end of the night an idea is created. And that is how actually we got most of our good ideas for our product, from things like timeline to photos to key elements of the product. But not every idea works, but everyone is encouraged to bring those ideas forward, and that's what Mark has built with this idea of hacking culture. We have photos all around the office or posters that say "fail harder," or keep shipping, and shipping meaning keep creating product. So it's about creating, and it's wonderful that the web has enabled very easy creation of product, and product can be coded fast and put out there and tested and changed and improved and iterated. And there's a culture of just trying to create and not fearing failure. One of the photos that is up around the office is, "What would you do if you weren't afraid?" And you know, it's a wonderful line. But it's interesting from I think, you know, culturally, from an Irish perspective. If you're a business person in Ireland and you don't succeed, you sometimes are a failure. I think in the States, you're still an entrepreneur. But I think there's a very positive element in Ireland, in other parts of society, where you have a playwright or an author. Whether they're a successful one, they are still a playwright or an author. So you know, it's about trying and not fearing failure. We also learn from everything that we do. So things that have not succeeded have been reworked and built into products at a later date. But you know, I think, you know, Mark keeps saying "fail harder," but actually I think it was Beckett who might have said, you know, fail, try again, fail, no matter, try again, fail better. So maybe it was an Irish inspiration. You don't have to change, but the people or the industries that don't embrace change, in my experience, have failed. You know, I think of Kodak as an example, who resisted digital technology. They're bankrupt, one of the greatest brands that ever existed. You know, there's other examples like the music industry that failed to embrace the change of the web and the digital frontier, and the result of that has been a spiral for them that they have not yet recovered from. We're going to see massive changes across multiple industries, that the web has enabled this change. We're seeing newspapers and publishing change as a result of e-books, digitization of all of that content. Most young people, most people in general, get all of their stories from social networks. Up to 50% of people receive stories or learn about stories from social networks. So change and embracing change is fundamental to success. And I think it's not just important to know that you have to change. You have to execute. You have to deliver upon change. You know, I worked for Nokia. 5 years ago, they had 50% of the world smartphone market, and Apple didn't exist. And if you flash forward to today, they're fighting for survival. So knowing what's coming and knowing you need to change is not enough sometimes. You have to deliver that change. What I really feel is that the web has been one of the greatest enablers to change that society has ever seen. We have examples. I think a good example is before the web, you had individual relationships with many different types of people. You had a relationship with your banker, you had a relationship with your shopkeeper, also with your postman. But what the web was able to do was it enabled people like Amazon to bring all of those different components together and fundamentally change an aspect of commerce. The next evolution of the web is going to be a social one. When we started 20 years ago, it was about portals that entertained us. The second phase was really about search, and Google did a magnificent job of bringing everything to us in a simple way. But the next evolution of the web is going to be through a social lens. Imagine coming back to Amazon now and viewing it through, instead of a huge store of different multiple goods, looking at it with the eyes of the things that you like, things that you like that are important to you. Imagine going in and knowing when all of your friends' birthdays were, knowing what the things that they liked and the things that they aspire to own. That's where the web will evolve to. But for me, it's really about the data becoming much more connected as we move forward. The greatest evolution, I think, is going to come in government, for example. If you can imagine that we have, at the moment, we have different departments of any government, whether it's tax, healthcare, social security, all of those elements are individual silos. Can you imagine a time where your driving license is up for renewal and a government or a system that knows that that's going to occur? It pulls a photo from a recent passport. It pulls your address from your social security. It understands that you have to pay a fee, and that can be deducted from your bank. And it also knows that your car is an environmentally friendly one and gives you a tax rebate as a result of that. A government that moves seamlessly as a result of combining all of that data. That's the lens that we are going to evolve to, and it's one about social discovery and social relevance. And that is going to be a very exciting phase for us, and we're just at the beginning of that.